cosmic energy that flow upon your skin. Echoes of the species world around you. To snifficate yourself to love and virtue. To love and virtue. Sacrifice your senses and your mind. Control your breath and thought, and surely you will find inner peace and gradual overstanding. Drop that mask so you can stop pretending. So you can stop pretending.
All right, family. Welcome to another edition of Baba TV Every Time Fire. And it's my absolute privilege always to be back on my little channel and to be able to bring the most powerful people on the planet. The very fact that Lil Baba got the privilege of bringing the original people of the planet, peace to the gods on the planet. That's of honor and a privilege always for me. This one brother right here, I met in Buffalo at the Rick James Funk Festival, and he's on my channel with the brother, forget his name, damn. Old age afflicted me. Forgive me, brother. And he dropped it. I heard this brother for the first time. It's really no surprise when you look at it from Buffalo standpoint, because some of the mightiest, I don't even need to go into no names, some of the mightiest people that we know came from Buffalo, New York. And he is this brother I'm about to bring forward definitely is no exception. My brother, Divine Lord Sekhem. Peace, Almighty. Talk to the family. Talk to the family.
Peace, Baba. It's a blessing to be on your platform, Baba. I thank you once again. This is like your third time having me. You hear me? So it's definitely a blessing, to be able to come on your platform, which is worldwide, and definitely a powerful airwave to reach the people and enlighten the people, to uplift them. So I'm definitely pleased to be here and definitely want to make a great contribution, to the work that you're putting in. Peace.
All right, brother. Just tell the people a little bit about your background. You from Buffalo, coming up from Buffalo, getting involved with your nation, the nation of gods, and shout out to the gods. Shout out to the father whose born day is the 22nd. I believe it's this Tuesday coming up. Shout out to the entire nation of gods and earths. Thank you very much for tuning in. Just go into it a little bit about your upbringing, how you got in with the nation of gods and earths and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, so my old dad, he was active with the nation, when he was coming up. So he was the one that led me into that direction to want to, get the knowledge of self. And then just as a youth, my mom, she was real strong on education and academics, and I had a knack, for reading, studying, and it was just like a natural curiosity where I wanted to learn about my history. Plus with my old dad, with him having knowledge of self and him presenting, the concepts of African culture, him presenting those things to me, I kind of gravitated towards that. But, growing up in the hood, you get caught up into that street life and that kind of distracts you. You understand? So in my travels of going through the streets, that's when I started bumping into more members. Not saying, it was because of the streets, but in my travels, that's when I started bumping into a lot of brothers with knowledge of self. And, as I started facing a lot of struggles, going through different challenges in life, it just seemed like the knowledge of self was something that I wanted to utilize to strive to better myself. And, having an unfortunate situation of going to prison, that's when I actually had the time to study and looking at myself to see what I really wanted in life, to see what really sparked me and motivate me. and it was the knowledge of self. And peace to all of the great gods, who played a role and still play a role in influencing me, to be great, to be better, than the thug, the gangster, the dope boy. So that was basically my my introduction, and also my enrollment into this.
All right, all right. Before I just shut my mouth and let you teach, because you powerful, brother. When you get started, you don't stop. And so that's why I want to get my little things out of it. I see when I came to Buffalo how you do. And I think it would be better for me to just say what little bit I got to say and let you go. I just want to say about your book, Children of the Stars. Family, it's a 500-page magnanimous, very well, thoroughly researched book. I mean, I'm not no researcher. We're at the top, you know what I'm saying, of our people. But to me, I mean, Lord Sekhem just makes me realize that the nation of gods and earths, they keep their lessons as their foundation, but they don't stay stagnant. They going, this book is, he take you into all kind of African comedic lessons. Let pure African teaching in this book, and he does it without negating his foundation. I think that that's a beautiful thing, and that we can learn, those of us who profess to believe in whatever the hell we believe, that we can take those ways and attributes from the nation of gods and earths. They on point with being able to, yes. Keep their information as their lessons, the 120s, as the foundation and the root, and then grow and branch out from there. That's a lesson in and of itself, Lord Sekhem. Go ahead, Almighty. I'm done. I just wanted to throw that little piece in there, and I'm done. Go ahead, brother. Teach.
Peace. So what we have to understand about the nation of gods and earth. First, we gotta a lot of people don't even understand why, the nation of gods and earth, why there's what's the word I want to say? There's a mentality amongst members of the nation of gods and earth where knowledge is a foundation. So we seek to acquire all knowledge and also to manifest that through our ways and actions. And that's all due to this man right here, the Father Allah, and what the Father Allah did, there's a set of questions. It's 120 questions and answers. And these questions and answers that was the questions was given by a man named Master Farad Muhammad, and they were answered by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And these lessons, they deal with everything, all the sciences that you can think of, from astrology, astronomy, agriculture, biology, chemistry, economics, sociology, philosophy, history. So you have to memorize these 120 questions and answers, and you have to be able to spit them verbatim. So, a lot of people use the word cipher, but the cipher came from the gods, because the gods would stand in the cipher in a circle, and everybody would have to quote lessons. And also, Allah, the Father, he developed those lessons, are questions and answers given by Master Farad Muhammad and answered by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But the Father, he devised his own system, own systematic principles called Allah Supreme Mathematics and Allah Supreme Alphabets, which is based on a numeric system. The principles that correspond to the numeric system 1 through 9, and alphabets that correspond to the 26 letters of the English language, the alphabets. And these principles are based on facts of nature, science, you can call it theology. But however, the gods have to memorize these 120 questions and answers that deals with the sciences of everything in life. And we also have to memorize the Supreme Allah, Supreme Mathematics, and Supreme Alphabets. So when you memorize all of these questions and answers in these principles, and you have to be able to spit them verbatim, it kind of sparks your mind with an ability to not only want to seek and acquire knowledge, but basically want to go in depth with knowledge and find the origins of knowledge, how things came about, why things is the way it is. It's like babies. That's why the Father Allah, he said we got to teach this to the babies, because the babies have the minds that's so open and they want to learn. So, however, you could be a grown man. if you open your mind up to get knowledge of self and to memorize those principles, it's just a natural thing that sparks your mind and open your mind up to want to, I hate to say the word attack knowledge, but acquire knowledge and just, take it from 1 to 9, from knowledge to born, back to knowledge. And from knowledge to born, what that means is when you acquire some knowledge, you want that knowledge, you want to internalize it, and you want that knowledge to activate your mind. Born, that's the ninth principle. That's why it takes 9 months for a baby to be born. So born corresponds to the number 9. But when you take knowledge to born, that shows and proves that you allow that knowledge to open your mind up into a whole new level of thinking. So that's one thing about, when you have knowledge of self and you build with the gods, that's what you get sparked with. And that was like one of the motivations of me writing this book, Children of the Stars, because it's based on my life's research. Like I say, my old dad introduced me to the knowledge of self when I was 9 years old. So I've been studying history, for a very long time. I've been studying a lot of things for a very long time. And it's like I say, it's a natural ability that any of us, you understand, could manifest if we open our minds and put our minds to that. If we look at our children, it's like the rap music. It's like how babies, they can learn a rap song. My seeds, a song could come out today. They know the words to the song tomorrow. It takes me as an adult, it takes me a minute to learn these songs, but it just shows you the natural ability that babies have. Now, us as adults, we might, do the lifestyles we live, from whatever, on the intoxicants we put in ourselves, the bad foods that's killing our brain cells. One thing we know for a fact, knowledge, it activates your mind, especially when you're getting divine knowledge, you understand? And, with the knowledge of self that we have, it's a divine knowledge because it sparks us to be a greater people, even though we still having our struggles and, we still have a lot of obstacles that we got to overcome. The fact of the matter is, we have a motivation when we open our minds, we have a motivation within self to want to seek more knowledge and make life better. So, that's one of the things that the Nation of God's nurse definitely sparked me with and keep influencing me with. And this is, the science with Children of the Stars, why I wrote this book, because, it's like there's a lesson that says, and actually that lesson, it applies to today. And it says that if a civilized person does not perform their duty, which is teaching civilization to others, you'll be beaten with many stripes. You understand? So when we have this knowledge, which is divine, and this knowledge which is made to uplift people and better people, we got to get this to our people, and that's what I seek to do. That's why I'm happy you got me on your platform, so I can make this knowledge born, and hopefully someone who's watching this, they'll get sparked, you understand, to want to open up their minds to learn things, because knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is infinite. You learn from the cradle to the grave. And if you look at the situation and the condition of our people, ignorance is what's ruling us right now. Ignorance rules us right now. You understand? A lot of our people, not a lot, some of our people, especially this generation, and it's just like the elder God, peace to the elder God, Melchizedek Shabazz Allah. We have to manifest education and elevation for this new generation, because, the way the new generation is gone, it's like we leading straight to perish. It's like that scripture in the Bible say, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. You understand that where there's no vision, the people will perish. So this is one of the goals and the duties, that we have, those of us who do have this knowledge, and those of us that want to spark our people to be better and to rise above the conditions that we in. It's a lot going on in our communities with the killings, with the constant, the drug use. It's madness out here. No matter how good some of us are doing personally within our families, that's cool. But when your community and your world at large, man, is suffering and there's a lot going on, we got work to do, And like I said, we're going to definitely make sure the home front is good, but not being selfish. That's what the knowledge of self helps us do. To reach back to our people and spark them. Because like I said, we striving to make knowledge born.
Beautiful, my brother. In chapter 10 of this book, this really got me. I went over and over and over this. I know you already know where it is here. 9, 10. Where is it at? Yes. Chapter 10, the stolen legacy of the black man's divine birthright and the theft of the black man's intellectual genius. Talk to us about that.
Okay. All right, so the creation of civilization is given to the Europeans. It's given to the Greeks and the Romans. And this is another reason why our children, you understand, a lot of our people, they stray from education. You know, not all of us, but some of us, we stray from education because the educational system is designed to uplift and spark the motivation within European people by teaching them that, yeah, the Greeks and the Romans, they were the ones who founded civilization. That's not true. And the reason why we call it, you know, the stolen legacy, I got that from Professor George G.M. James, who actually wrote a book called The Stolen Legacy. And within that book, he shattered in the same year, Brown versus Board of Education. Brown versus Board of Education was a United States Supreme Court landmark decision that ended school segregation and allowed blacks and whites to go to school together. And within that book, he shows and proves how the Greeks were never the fathers of philosophy and the different sciences, which, you know, structures into civilization. So that chapter of my book, Children of Stars, is based on, you know, the theme that Professor George G.M. James presented to the world. The scientific world, the archaeological world, has shown and proven that the original man and the original woman, meaning the first man and the first woman, was created in Africa. There are numerous skeletal remains which shows and proves this. This is just not some mere gesture, somebody saying it. This is an actual fact. Also, we know that it is in Africa. Africa is where the environment is produced. Is where the environment is that produces and sustains the multitudes of life that we see. Like in these religious scriptures, they talk about Garden of Eden or paradise. That's Central Africa, okay? So first what we have to come to understand is that the original man and woman is from Africa, and that's scientifically proven. Not only is the original man and the original woman from Africa, it was the original man and the original woman who possessed the supreme intelligence to get us here where we are today. They were the first ones who founded civilization, and just how skeletal remains prove that the original man and the original woman were first created in Africa. There's archaeological. There's ruins of ancient temples and monuments also found in Africa, which proves that civilization was first created in Africa. Michael Tellinger, he presented information showing and proving that in South Africa, hundreds of thousands of years ago, these people were dealing with a supreme intelligence to build architectural cities built out of stones, okay? So all of that, the Greeks and the Romans started and founded civilization. The Greeks and Romans, they was only here 25 years ago. But you have scientists, you have archaeologists, you have anthropologists that have found evidence that civilization was first built in Africa, that the sciences and the skills of how to build architecture, of how to cultivate the land and plant crops. You understand? The sciences of studying the stars. This is where we get the different sciences from, such as astronomy and how to develop calendars. All of these things started in Africa first, okay? So this is, this is why we call it the theft, the stolen legacy, and the intellectual theft of the black man, because if we let the educational system of today's world tell us how things went, they make it seem like the European has been the only intellectually developed person that could ever develop civilization. And that's not true. They have made great contributions to civilization, but they have just came here and started making contributions to civilization when civilization was built thousands and thousands of years before the Europeans even came here. If you look at the pyramids in North Africa, nobody knows how old those pyramids is. But what we do know is that sitting in front of the pyramids is a statue of Heru and Set. They call it the Sphinx, but the Africans call that statue Heru and Set. That's the face of a black person. That right there is signature showing and proving that great civilization in North Africa, which everybody called ancient Egypt, the original name was Kemet. That statue sitting in front of those pyramids is proof showing that black people mothered and fathered that civilization and constructed that civilization. And the Greeks and the Romans, they have nothing in comparison with the Greeks and the Roman civilization, the ancient ruins that you find in Greece and Rome, the Colosseums that they have, the amphitheaters. None of that is a comparison to the archaeological ruins that you have found in Africa. All right. So for Europeans in this educational system right now to present to the world that it was the Greeks and the Romans who developed all of the sciences and the skills of engineering civilization, that's not right. Because what that actually does, it makes, our children want to stray from education. Like, why should I learn? You know what I'm saying? That's what it really is internally. A person may not say it consciously that this is why they don't like school. But if you can't be sparked with something to motivate you for who you are, if you can't be proud of your genetic inheritance of excellence, why do you want to learn something? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and who want to be constantly told that their people contributed nothing to civilization? Just like right now, Black History Month. 1 month, you can't encapsulate Black history into 1 month. Black history is life. You understand what I'm saying? The universe is Black. The creator of the universe created the first man and woman as being Black. So how could you encapsulate Black history into 1 month? This is the intellectual theft, you understand, of the Black man's genius right here. And this is why we striving to present the truth to our people and to give our people a knowledge that will spark them and motivate them to let them know just how our ancestors had that intellectual ability to develop civilization long ago. We have that same intellectual ability to do that now. You understand? So, with the stolen legacy and the intellectual theft of the Black man's genius, we just show and prove basically how we show and prove through historical fact, archaeological evidence, and just certain situations and scenarios that we can see in this day and time, how the educational system of today is trying to deprive us and make us feel like our ancestors never contributed nothing to civilization, but the evidence is there for us. And if we look at that evidence, that's when it'll spark us, you understand, to utilize the supreme intelligence we have in ourselves to master education now. And we could, create civilization as well as contribute to the civilization we live in. I know how.
Did you? Oh, wait a minute. I might have been on mute.
Yeah,
Was I on mute? I was on mute.
Yeah, I didn't hear nothing.
You couldn't hear me?
Nope.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I want to go over that. We're going to go, family, into the divine mind of our brother, Divine Lord Sekhem. All right, brother. The battle of Heru and Set as astro-spiritual principles of the Shemsu Heru. Go in and talk to our family about that.
Yeah, this is this applies to this day and time. So a lot of people, may know Heru. The European name for Heru is Horus. That's what the Greeks called him, but our ancestors called this principle Heru. Heru has the head of the falcon, the body of a Black man. And Set, so the principle of Heru and the principle of Heru at one time, it represented the light that could overcome the darkness, all right? And it also means willpower. Set, on the other hand, was a principle of evil. It was a principle of negative. And Set was represented as having red hair with pale skin. Set is also the etymological or language word origin where the word Satan and Shaitan come from. Set, S-E-T, is where you get the word Satan and Shaitan. So at first, according to the research and Professor Vulindwela Wabogo, who wrote the book Cold Wind of the North, this is an author that I researched, also Mfadishi Jehutimus. At one time, the principles of Heru and Set, they were astronomical or astrological principles of how light overcomes darkness. And it also has a symbolic meaning to how our knowledge, which represent light, acquiring knowledge, it can take us over that realm of ignorance. You understand? Our ancestors, like I say, they had their own struggles in their time, spiritual struggles, which allowed them to develop these principles. And when you go into the principle of Heru and Set, they always looked at it as a battle. It's like a battle of night and day, light and darkness, okay? Set would just have to like wait out his time to overcome the darkness. Just like, some people are scared of the dark, and it's like you got to wait until the night is over with. When the night is over with, then that's when the daytime will come. However, in time, the principles of Heru and Set, you have to take it back to the old kingdom with King Narma. At first, these principles, Heru and Set, they were astrological principles, talk about night and day, studying the moon, the stars, and the sun, of light overcoming darkness. Later on, also in the Shemsu Heru, those were considered the followers of Heru. And the Shemsu Heru, they say, existed before the time of the flood. So this is a long time ago when we're talking about these principles. Very long time ago. And Infidisi Juhutimus, he just came out with a book last year called The Shemsu Heru and the Spirit of the Magi. That's another good book, to reference in regards to the Shemsu Heru. So, however, as time goes forward with the old kingdom of Kemet, which was around 5,000 years ago, this is the time where we see the Africans of Kemet, and Egypt was the African civilization, is shown improving through all of the statues and the monuments that they left, which depict African phenotypic type of facial features. They even painted a lot of statues black. During the Old Kingdom time, they tell you that ancient Egypt was invaded, but they don't tell you who invaded ancient Egypt at this time. This time, Egypt was invaded by Caucasians from the north. From the north. And they say this is when the principle of Heru and Set, it went from being astrological principles to actually representing the principles of two different individuals. Set, who was pale skinned and had a red hair, he's the one that had an evil nature, and he always wanted to take the throne and usurp the throne. And we know from studying history and even in this day and time, who always want to take something from somebody, who always want to conquer people's land and take things. This is just reality. This is a historical fact that we present now. So during the Old Kingdom, when Egypt was constantly experiencing several invasions by European nomads, they changed the principles of Heru and Set from being astronomical and astrological principles to representing the nature of man, the nature of a black man and the nature of a white man. And those principles of Heru and Set, they have their symbolicness as well, because if you look at the Sphinx, which is the head of an African person, the Sphinx, Huramaket is the African name, but they call it the Sphinx, which sit in front of the pyramids. It has the head of an African person, and it has the body of an animal. And this is also symbolic to, we have a God nature and we have a lower nature. So it shows and proving once again how Heru represents the horizon. It represents the horizon, overcoming ignorance. So when you're dealing with the principles of Heru and Set, we going into a spiritual symbolicness of the good and the bad. But in later times, it went from a spiritual significance to a realistic significance of a black person and a white person having a battle.
Beautiful, beautiful, brother. Now, so I can put it on the screen. Tell the people your contact information, where they can get this book. I'm just running through some of the pages in the chapter so this brother you can get a feel. He's deep, family. Where can the family get this book?
The book is on Amazon, Kindle, Barnes and Noble. It's even at Target, and you might be able to find them in a couple local bookstores. Like you got Zawadi Bookstore in Buffalo, New York. I think it's a spot in New Jersey called Knowledge is Infinite. Books have it, and Revolutionary Bookstores might have it. But you can go online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble's, Kindle. That's where the book is available at. Children of the Stars, Seeds of an Eternal Legacy by Divine Lord Sekhem.
Damn, you got it all over the place. Wow. Would you prefer the people? Can they get it from you?
Yeah, you can order from me. I'm a little low on my books, but like I say, my website is www.dlsmwp.com. The dlsmwp.com. You can place an order on my website.
All right, family. All right, God. Go into the medieval kingdoms of Yoruba land and the Great Benin.
Okay. Yeah. West Africa. Those two civilizations, like I say, of West Africa and a lot of us is real relevant because those were two civilizations that was really affected by the slave trade. And when we get into history, they try to make it seem like the only significance that those civilizations had was the slave trade. You understand? But way before slavery existed, the Yoruba kingdom, the Edo kingdom, the kingdoms of Great Benin, those kingdoms were actually like, if you look at the 18th dynasty, the Europeans with their little lion selves, they try to say the 18th dynasty of Egypt. The 18th dynasty of Egypt was what they call a Renaissance type of dynasty, where a lot of artwork was produced, a lot of investigation into new scientific methods was produced during the 18th dynasty of Kemet. And they say the 18th dynasty is one of the only African dynasties Kemet had. So the reason I brought that up is because Great Benin and Yoruba land, those civilizations in the hinterlands of West Africa, those civilizations are like similar to the Renaissance status that the 18th dynasty of Kemet had. In the 18th, just note, the 18th dynasty of Kemet is where a lot of great pharaohs like Nefertiti, Akhenaten, King Tut, that's where most of them came from, that 18th dynasty. However, the civilizations of Yoruba land and Great Benin, way before slavery, this is like a couple hundred years before slavery, these civilizations, they left a mark on the world because they had great economies of trading, and also the artwork that Great Benin produced. The artwork, it was Leo Frobenius who said the artwork of Great Benin, the artwork that was presented by the sculptors of Great Benin was reminiscent of the artists of ancient Egypt. You understand? In Great Benin, like I say, Great Benin, Yoruba land, most of them civilizations in West Africa is very relevant to us because the slave trade, dominated a lot of West Africa and other parts of Africa, but West Africa is where the slave trade was heavily concentrated at. And being that them civilizations were in West Africa, a lot of us are descended from those regions, and one great thing about Yoruba land, one thing that I mentioned also in the book with Yoruba land, the Yoruba have a deep history. They actually talks about how the land of Yoruba was founded almost 10,000 years ago. They try to say it's a legend, but we found there's archaeological evidence showing that civilization, there was a highly cultured civilization existent in Nigeria over 35,000 years ago. And however, there's a spiritual system in Yoruba land, like most, the voodoo that, a lot of people practice over here in the Caribbean, South America, or whether they call it voodoo, condable, or Santeria. This is a psychospiritual science. It's a psychospiritual science of knowing, the powers of the mind and how you can heal sickness. You can heal psychological sickness as well as physical sickness through the use of like plants, herbs, and dancing. That's what the Yoruba is predominantly known for. You understand what I'm saying? And that science, that psychospiritual science of the Yoruba, it got flooded all throughout the colonies of all the slave colonies of the Caribbean and South America, which shows you the powerful impact of that culture. But the key thing is We all talk about holy cities. You don't, no disrespect to no other religions. No disrespect to Islam, who talk about the holy city of Mecca. No disrespect to the Christians and Jews who talk about the holy city of Jerusalem. But before those cities existed, in Yoruba land, they had a holy city called Ile-Ifa. And Ile-Ifa existed thousands and thousands of years ago. You understand? One time, Ile-Ifa was like the central authority in that region of lower West Africa. You know, that's why I say we got to get into our history. You know, knowledge of self, and knowing your history, knowing who you is, black man, black woman, black child, because we were the ones that was deprived of this history and this knowledge. And if somebody deprived you of something, why would you expect that same person to teach you something that's right and exact? You understand? We all quick to say, oh yeah, we know that they enslaved us, blah, blah, this and that, but we still, you know what I'm saying, following their religion instead of following our ancestral religion. We still trying to believe in things that they taught us. Why is you believing in what your enemy's teaching? We already showed you that he's not going to teach you anything that's going to take you to your highest height of excellence. You understand? So, you know, we strive to show, improve, and spark our people, man, to learn and be proud, feel good about who you is, and don't ever deny yourself greatness by learning, you understand, from your ancestors. If you believe that the Creator created you, you believe, you know what I'm saying, that God created man and woman, you should know and understand God created black people because God loved to create black people. God is black. This is why we, you know what I'm saying, we exist. And this is why we need to, you know, gain knowledge of our history and learn about who we are, because nobody can learn about us and teach us about us but us.
Beautiful, brother. Now, that's enough of the book, family. I think that's enough. I just wanted the brother to go in as only the original man can do on his information. And now I want to come up to date. Talk to us about, because there's a lot of talk, pardon me, going on about drill music, our people, and drill music. Talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and, you know, should we get rid of drill music? What talk, teach the babies, brother.
You know, every generation, we all gonna make music that comes from our era, that comes from our culture. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, the hip hop that I grew up to in the 90s was different than the hip hop of the 80s, and it was because of the culture that we lived. So one thing, you know, me once being young and you know, just coming from the streets and having a culture that was expressed through hip hop that I could relate to. I don't knock the young brothers now. You know, this is what they growing up to. You feel what I'm saying? They rapping about what they talking about, but this is where we got to go back to knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? For us to constantly promote the black on black violence, the drug selling, the disrespect of our women. Like, let's really be real. Where is that going to take us? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like they say, we can only speak about things that we only can speak about the things we know and the things we go through. This is why we emphasize getting knowledge of self, because when you get knowledge of self, you understand, you broaden your horizon to acquire knowledge of different things. Knowledge of self, I mean, yes, you got to know your history because you need to know where you come from, who you are, but knowledge of self, it entails you wanting to live a better life for yourself and learning how you can live a better life for yourself. You can't live a better life for yourself if you don't know how to do anything different than what you're doing that keeps your life struggling. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at the music that we constantly promote, we promote music that influence us to go out there and commit crimes. We got music that's constantly promoting us or influencing us not to respect our woman, not to want to raise a family. You know what I'm saying? So if we don't strive for nothing better, that's what we're going to constantly present to each other. You understand? That's what, and I know a lot of us is going through that right now, and this is all that we can talk about. But there is, like I say, there's things that, you understand, we can get into to open up our minds and take us on a higher level. You know, I'm not knocking what anybody going through. You know, a lot of my young brothers, you know what I'm saying, mad love to my young brothers, because a lot of them is talented. They only manifesting, you understand, what they're going through, but at the same time, it's more to life than what you're going through. You feel me? This box that we in, the box that we feel we in, we can get ourselves up out of that box if we elevate our mind. And if we the tools to elevate our mind is the knowledge of self. That's why I say, like I said, I was young in the 80s, but I remember Brand Nubian. I remember when the rap music back in the 80s, the guards, they was flooding the airways, and the guards was motivating everybody to get knowledge, to be proud of being Black, go to school and master that education in school. Because that education, you know what I'm saying, that can't stop you right there. So in the 80s, you had rap, it was different. The guards, they was providing knowledge. These individuals, they had an open mind, you understand, to like elevate their consciousness, learn about different skills and sciences. But now, yeah, it's the drill music and all of that. Like, this is what the new culture, this is what these young boys, they rapping about what they're going through. But like I say, there's a solution to get us up out of that.
Indeed. And as everybody know, I'm a big promoter of Rick James. He came up in my era, and I try to drill home as best I can that his mistakes and shortcomings should not and are not the sum total of who he was and is. Go in. I couldn't, I just want you to go. I don't want to get off track, but you from Buffalo. I just want you to go in to just a little bit of our brother Rick James, just a little bit.
No, I mean, he was way before my time, so it ain't, I'm only 40, so it's not much that I can say. But from what I heard, he was official as far as, he didn't forget where he came from. There's several people like elders, who still living, who could, tell you stories how he definitely made sure, he put people on in his hood. And you see that with the music groups that he produced, like Process and the Do-Rags and the lead singer from the Mary Jane Girls. He came back to his hood and made sure he could help people out. And then, you hear the wild story. You know what I'm saying? But he was a good musician. He was a great musician. You know what I'm saying? I'm young. I didn't come up in that era, but I listened to his music. He was a great musician, So yeah, he definitely, he's definitely respected and loved here in Buffalo too as well. Most definitely.
Beautiful. And he did not dislike rappers. I don't know, I won't say the brother's name who spread that lie. Otherwise, many of the rappers wouldn't have been able to sample his music, even though he got paid for it. And our sister, Roxanne Shante, would not have come out to his house to stay with him for 3 months and work on an album with him, which she is featured on, if he felt like that about his and our people. So that's a lie. Don't I think at first, like a lot of the older generation, they didn't understand. Like we don't understand, a lot of I'm not on that frequency with a lot of the music that's out here today. I try, but I want to hear the Brand Nubians and Big Daddy Kane, and that's not coming back. X-Clan and Public Enemy and KRS-One and MC Shan and Roxanne Shante. And that's who I want to hear. Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Helter Skelter. That's who I want to hear, but they not, that's my generation. They not really, they might, what I mean, try to refuel and revamp and come, but I just wanted to drop that about Rick James. Talk to our people about what you have going on, because I know you're doing a lot of things in Buffalo. Talk to our people about what you got going on now and because you in a lot of stuff.
For first, like I say, take care of the family, you know what I'm saying? Be there for the fam support. But as far as with the community, I extend myself to work with different community organizations, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to It Takes a Village. Community organizations that's definitely trying to work with the youth. And, I'm it don't matter where you at, wherever you locate, whatever support that I can provide, that's what I do. So as far as, striving to provide a little mentorship to the youth, because I was once a troubled youth, and I've had my experiences being in prison. So, that's one thing that I do. Also working on a project. I actually want to make a documentary for Children of the Stars. So I definitely want to get this jumping because, I understand a lot of our people don't have time to read. You working and, gotta, do the life, them struggles of life or whatever. So I want to get a documentary for the book jump in. And I'm also working on a documentary for the history of Buffalo. And my son, he's writing a book. He's only 10 years old. So he wrote a book based about his, his life and stuff. And, that's basically what I'm doing. Each and every day. You feel me? I'm just striving to live mathematics. It's a struggle. You understand? But I just strive to perfect myself every day and just try to be, better than the last day. But you feel me? This is what life is. You feel me? And that's why in the scripture it said that, all of you are God's sons of Most High, and surely you will fall like one of the princes. So, each and every day, man, we just striving to build, and whichever way we can support any movement that's positive and that's willing to uplift our people. You got my support, no matter what I'm doing. Can't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Brother Shango was the brother that I always come see when I come to Buffalo. How could I forget? He is the brother that introduced me to Lord, Divine Lord Sekhem. And if you go on my channel under the Buffalo category, you'll see the videos and you'll see the brother dropping it. So I really should have had him on here long before now, but it's hey, it's on it, Papa. Now,
shout out to the Conscious Workshop. That's another thing, that been going on in the city. He got the African Consciousness Workshop like every Monday. You feel me? And I'm not sure if he been doing it live, but yeah. So like I say, Shango and the RBG, Buffalo RBG, I support them definitely. I work with them here and there too.
All right, brother. I'm out of questions, and I take us on home. Any important information for the people? Take us on out.
Definitely. Basically, it's like you spoke on that drill. You spoke on the drill rap, what our young kids is into now. Listen, I respect it. You feel me? The era that y'all coming up in is crazy, but the greatest thing that you could actually want in your life is have the identity of God. You feel me? That's the first thing. And we ain't talking about no mystery God in the sky. We're talking about the true and living God that exists within you, because that's what actually created you. The supreme power and life force that your mother and father used to create you, or that you use to create life, that's what we should be striving to tap into and tap into learn, because that's the only creating God that we will ever know. And we missing out on life. We missing out on life dealing with this ignorance. We missing out on life in it, man. We constant prison. How many of the homies gonna keep getting killed? Then we got our babies out here. The kids can't even, play outside. Like, who really wants to be living like that? You feel me? I'm from the hood. I know how it is, and I always strive to reach out to my peoples in the hood so we can make this better. But for all my young boys, you feel me? There's a lot more to life, you feel me, than the prison, the drugs, the guns, and that knowledge of self. That knowledge of self, you feel me? It can open your mind. You talk about making money. You could really make some real legit money when you start to utilize the intelligence to master the financial economy in this world. You understand what I'm saying? The selling the drugs and all that, I understand. You feel me? That's in the hood. That's the way you can eat real quick. But if you do the math, look at the intelligence that's behind all of the money in the world. You understand? Being a drug dealer, that's a game that we didn't make right there. If you really look at the whole history of the drug game, when drugs was first out, black people wasn't big into the drug game. You understand? We just got into the drug game in the 60s and the 70s. So it's showing you that's a trap for us right there, because none of us are succeeding. None of us are succeeding like the Italian mafia did. That's their game. That's what it's for, and it's letting us know right there. I was always told a black man is righteous by nature. That's why we can't do wickedness real good. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we can't be the best criminals in the world. You got so many European nations of criminals. They billionaires. Where you don't see no black billionaires in crime. I mean, you could talk about, Hush Puppy or whatever, the scammers. Come on, man. Boys ain't getting no long run out there. So my whole, message to the youth is, you feel me? We got to wisen up. And the only way we're going to really wisen up, man, is by getting knowledge of self, knowing what our true potentials is. We have potentials, man, that we haven't even tapped in yet. I say the way LeBron and them move on court, you feel me? If we manifest that same prowess, that same skill like that with our minds, man, we would be geniuses and we'd be able to get all of the things we want. You feel me? We'd be able to be black. We'd be able to have black car manufacturers. We ain't got black car manufacturers yet. You understand what I'm saying? Black software designers, where we got our own type of computers and laptops. You understand? We got to get ourselves, man, back into that intellectual mind state that our ancestors was once in. Our ancestors was builders and creators of civilizations. They controlled economies. You understand what I'm saying? We have to bring ourselves back into that resurrection of consciousness, man, and bring out that creative genius within us. This lifestyle we live in is not going to help this creative genius come out. It's actually killing this creative genius. That's why we keep finding so many of us into the prison system. You understand? So, you know, I just seek, you know what I'm saying, to always make knowledge born, presenting knowledge to my people, man, that would take their mind onto a newer realm of life. You feel me? Like I say, it's going to always be a struggle, but we got the powers within us to overcome the struggles. That's where the patience and the perseverance come in, you know? So, like I say, we gotta focus, you know, on the matters at hand, the situations at hand, the situations that's affecting us as a people. And, you know, it starts with each of us as an individual. It starts with each of us as an individual. Once we start working on ourselves, it spreads throughout our families. After it spreads throughout our families, it spreads through the communities. And after that, you feel me, it spreads through the nations. You look at what the Jews been through, you feel me? The Jews, they went through their struggle, you feel me? But they got their mind, they put their mind together, said, yo, we're not going to go through this no more. And you look at them, how they came out on top. You feel me? It take a lot of work, but we have to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of, like I said, it's tired, man. It's crazy. Every time you turn around, you know what I'm saying? Brothers out here killing the news. It's always killings. Prison. It's got to change this.
And on that note, I want to give thanks, maximum respect to my brother, the God Almighty, Divine Lord, Sekhem. Shout out to his beautiful earth, the Queen. Thank you very much for all your hospitality that you and the brother showed me every time I come to Buffalo. Lord knows I appreciate it and I almost don't know how to act. Shout out to my brother Shango. Shout out one more time to my brother Shango. Yes, sir. And right now, I want to take us on out, family, with the new Dwayne Stevenson. Dwayne Stevenson, and this one says, tenement yard. He said, I just want to stay in the house. There's so much violence and shooting. I'm going to stay inside.
Nice wake me up in the morning. Down in my tenement yard. I neighbors and him girlfriend keep fighting. Down in my tenement yard. Can't find no peace in the city. Seems there's no place left for love. So why and I just try keep my sanity. Down in my tenement yard. 6 o'clock in the morning I rise up to face today. I said the road boys they on the corner. And they said them plan to stay. Some a smoke herbs, some a juggle marijuana. Them say I just said the system stay. Well, every day is police brutality. While the youths them a cause pure tragedy. Gun war them a play. Them friends them a stay. I just said the system stay. They say your nights wake me up every morning. Down in a me tenement yard. I neighbor and him girlfriend keep fighting. Down in a me tenement yard. Can't find no peace in the city. Seems there's no place left for love. So why and I just try keep my sanity. Down in a I tenement yard. Young girls are posing at the tightest clothes in a dance. She and her mother. Children playing in the street, box ball on the cold concrete. And them away the crowd, cause daddy's not around. Oh God, what a sight, what a sound. Mr. Politicians up to no good. Play the fools like they do in Hollywood. Seems like we can't get away. But I just said the system stay. Who is gonna save the day? When the youths them get locked away. And we hide and close our eyes while the youths them run away. in a me tenement yard. I neighbor and the woman keep fighting. Oh, down in a me tenement yard. Can't find no peace in the city. Seems there's no place left for love. So why and I just a try will I sanity. Yeah, down in a I tenement yard. I said a nice wake I up in the morning. Yeah, down in a I tenement yard. I neighbor and the woman keep fighting. Yeah, down in a I tenement yard. Can't find no peace in the city. Seems there's no place left for love. So why and I just a try keep my sanity. Yeah, down in a I tenement yard. I asked him why. Oh why? Oh why? In a tenement yard. Oh God. It's love in a tenement yard. It's a lie. It's a lie. The people need a change. People need a change. 6 o'clock every morning, I rise to face the day. Me said the rude boys they on the corner, and they said them plan to stay. Some a smoke herbs, some a juggle marijuana. Them say I just said the system stay. Well, every day is police brutality, and all the youths them a cause pure tragedy. A gun war them a play, them friends them a slay. Well, I just said the system stay. I said the system stay in the ghetto, yeah. But I said the system stay. Lord, in the ghetto. That's why your night wake me up every morning in the ghetto. Oh.